1981. The timeline begins right here. No introductions, just cold data. I want you to completely forget the internet as it exists today.
Right. I mean, forget smartphones, forget the ubiquitous broadband.
We are talking about an era where the primary digital threat wasn't a virus. It wasn't someone hacking your bank account. It was a map.
A literal map of your life.
A paper is published by David Chaum. Untraceable electronic mail, return addresses, and digital pseudonyms. And he defines the ultimate threat. Traffic analysis.
Which is, well, it's a concept people still fundamentally misunderstand today.
Because they think about the content. They think, if my message is encrypted, I'm safe. But the content of the message is mathematically irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant. Traffic analysis doesn't care what you are saying. It cares who you talk to and when you talk to them.
Chillingly logical.
Yeah.
You don't need the audio file if you have the metadata.
Exactly. If you ping a cardiologist at 2 p.m., an oncologist at 3 p.m., and a life insurance broker at 4 p.m.
I have a complete diagnostic profile of your life without intercepting a single syllable of those conversations.
And Chaum foresaw this. He looked at the 1980s, a pre-prison world before the internet was a public utility, and realized that in a digital realm without physical barriers, identification systems inevitably create a Panopticon nightmare.
The ultimate surveillance architecture. You build the network, you build the prison. Unless you engineer an exit.
Which brings us to the countermeasure.
Mixed networks. The technical requirement for survival. Privacy is not an option. It is a structural necessity.
So how did he build this exit? How do you mathematically sever that link?
By wrapping messages in layers of encryption and routing them through intermediate nodes. Mixers.
So instead of A talking directly to B,
A sends a sealed packet to a mixer. The mixer strips a layer of encryption, shuffles it with thousands of other packets, and sends it to the next node. You mathematically sever the link between the sender and the receiver.
And this is the direct ancestor of Tor.
Yes, it was the absolute first proof that the right not to be watched could be technically enforced. You didn't have to legally request privacy from the state anymore. You could compile it.
But communicating in secret is just the foundation. If you want to actually survive, you have to be able to transact.
And that pivots us directly to the 1982 paper. Blind signatures for untraceable payments.
The origin of the $100 million failure.
The core concept here is blinding the authority. An authority like a bank signs a digital coin without ever seeing the serial number or the owner's identity.
Which sounds impossible.
It's an axiom. It's math. We will dissect the formula shortly, but first we have to look at the execution, because this wasn't just abstract theory.
Right. 1989, DigiCash is founded in the Netherlands.
And they launch eCash.
This is what haunts me. It actually worked. By the mid-90s, you had trials running with Mark Twain Bank in the U.S. You had functional, anonymous digital cash.
But the architecture had a fatal technical flaw.
It was centralized.
Totally centralized. To prevent double spending, to stop someone from copy-pasting a digital coin and spending it twice, eCash required a central server to check the serial numbers.
Leaving the bank as the ultimate point of power. A single point of failure.
But the technical flaw isn't what killed it. DigiCash filed for bankruptcy in 1998 because of a strategic tragedy.
A catastrophe for human freedom. Chaum had a meeting with Microsoft, Bill Gates,
The gatekeeper of the PC era.
Microsoft offered $100 million to integrate eCash natively into Windows.
Every computer on the planet would have had untraceable digital cash built into the operating system.
And Chaum turned it down.
He said no.
He turned it down over negotiation disputes, control issues, whatever the reason. It doesn't matter now. That was the moment. The digital initiative was surrendered entirely back to the traditional banking system.
We lost decades. Decades of financial privacy vanished.
But wait, this is where we reach the bridge point. While the masses are being ushered into the convenience of CBDCs, the elite 1%, the technical architects, are already activating Chaum's original mathematical shields.
The genetic inheritance, 2008 to 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto.
You look at the Bitcoin white paper, and Chaum isn't cited.
He's not in the bibliography.
But the DNA is undeniable, and Satoshi explicitly acknowledged eCash in 2009. He stated that Bitcoin was an evolution of the idea.
Because Satoshi solved the technical flaw. He replaced Chaum's central server with proof of work and a decentralized blockchain.
Solved the double spending problem.
Kept the censorship resistance. Hal Finney, the first person to receive a Bitcoin transaction, was incredibly vocal about Chaum being the true starting point.
Because the goal is untraceable value. Which brings us back to the blind signature. You have to visualize this for people. The carbon paper analogy.
The only way to comprehend the math without a whiteboard. Imagine an envelope lined with carbon paper.
Okay.
You put a digital coin with a unique serial number inside this envelope. You seal it.
So I can't see the document.
Right. You hand the sealed envelope to the bank. The bank signs the outside of the envelope.
Verifying the value.
Because of the carbon paper lining, that signature transfers perfectly onto the document inside. When you open it, you have a valid bank-signed coin. But the bank never saw the serial number.
They validate the currency without knowing the identity.
The bank validates the currency without ever knowing the serial number M, because the actual mechanism is an absolute mathematical law. The RSA formula.
Break it down.
It is a three-step axiom,
Yeah.
the blinding phase. M prime equals M times R to the power of E modulo N.
You obscure the raw data.
Then the signing phase. S prime equals M prime to the power of D modulo N. The authority signs the blinded data.
And then you extract it.
The unblinding phase.
Sure.
S equals S prime times R to the inverse modulo N. The blind signature holds. The math is absolute.
And this isn't just a cypherpunk fantasy. We desperately need this math today because of the economics of surveillance.
The hidden tax on the entire system.
People think privacy is a luxury. It's a financial necessity. Do you know what the current system costs? Let's look at the U.S. regulatory burdens from the CFPB alone.
Give me the data.
Since 2011, it has cost consumers between $237 billion and $369 billion.
The audit is brutal.
That is just one agency's compliance cost passed directly to the middle class through higher fees and lower rates, and global AML anti-money laundering spending. It is projected to surpass $75 billion annually by 2030.
You are paying a massive premium to fund the Panopticon that watches you.
Exactly. The system is structurally bankrupting itself to maintain surveillance, which is why the elite are activating the shields right now.
The modern activation of the 1982 logic. Chaumian CoinJoin.
Which is running on Bitcoin today.
Wabi Sabi and Wasabi Wallet.
Yeah.
Whirlpool and Samurai Wallet. The coordinator mixes the inputs and outputs and signs off on the transaction.
But they use the blind signature, so the coordinator has zero knowledge of which input matches which output.
Absolute data minimization, which extends directly to Taproot and Schnorr signatures on the Bitcoin base layer.
The art of concealment.
You can have highly complex multi-signature smart contract, and Schnorr cryptography makes it look identical to a simple single-key transaction.
You blend into the crowd.
You mathematically enforce the invisibility of your operational logic.
And you have to do this right now. You have to log out from the grid because the trap is closing.
Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs.
The ultimate antagonist. This isn't just Venmo or Apple Pay. This is Project Hang in South Korea.
The deposit token test. 100,000 citizens.
Testing programmable payments. The state can restrict an allowance to only be spent on school supplies.
Chillingly logical.
Oh.
If the code dictates the permissible purchase, your autonomy is entirely revoked.
And China is pushing it further. The ECNY, programmable persistence.
Expiration dates on your money.
If you don't spend it, it vanishes. And it integrates seamlessly with the social credit system. They can block you from buying train tickets or luxury goods instantly based on your behavioral score.
Tracked money is dead money.
If the state can freeze your asset or dictate its expiration, you do not own that asset. You are a tenant of your own wealth.
David Chaum defined this decades ago as mathematical morality. Cryptography is a structural tool designed to balance power between the state and the individual.
But the state is scaling up. The future threat is post-quantum computing.
A completely valid vector. PQ computing threatens the foundational RSA blind signatures we just discussed.
Which means the shield has to evolve.
And it is.
Yeah.
The current research into lattice-based cryptography is the next layer of the fortress. The genetic code adapts.
It has to adapt. In a system of fully programmable state money, your asset value is strictly linked to your privacy.
Bitcoin is the realization of that 1981 vision. It is the digital arc.
Chaum's untraceable money merged perfectly with Satoshi's uncensorable network.
The ultimate technical requirement for survival in a post-privacy world.
The grid is locking down.
Will you trust the mercy of the state or the laws of mathematics? 5 seconds of total silence.